I don't even think it said Five Nights at Freddys. I just knew it was whatever. And then as soon as I got the script, I recorded and I told a buddy, I'm like, yeah, I did this thing called Five Nights at Freddys. He goes, what? You did what? I'm like, what are you talking about? It was just, it's a video game. He goes, dude. I'm like, what? He sends me all of like the pictures his kids have. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. They've heard of it. He's like, dude, it's like a huge thing. It's at like Target. It's at like Walmart. It's everywhere. I'm like,
Joe, did you request? So let me see if I can get you on here. Boo. All right. I was actually working one night. This is Joe.
What's up?
What's going on? So I'm telling you the backstory of why I decided to bring you on tonight.
Yeah.
I was bartending one night, and I always talk about my family, my own personal life, because that's just what I do. That's what a bartender is supposed to do. And I was talking to these two guys, and I brought up Five Nights at Freddys, which is my son's favorite video game. And they were like, oh my God, our friend is one of the voices for that. And I was like, get out of here. What is the chances of that? So they go, oh, give us his phone number and Joe will text him. And so this is Joe, and he's an amazing voice actor. So I'm going to give him the floor in a second. And he literally called my son. My son didn't have a voicemail set up. So Joe actually called him live and talked to him in the character of his favorite character from that video game. So I'm going to let Joe take the floor for a few minutes, introduce himself, tell how he got started in voice acting and some of the things that he's done, and then maybe he'll actually do a couple voices for us and entertain us because it's Wacky Wednesday, Joe.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'm originally from Boston too. So as soon as you said the Gap, I'm like, oh, that's Moody Street, Waltham. I know exactly where that is. Never been, but I know where that's from. But yeah, no, when my buddy gave me a call, he's like, listen, you got to call her son. And I'm like, all right, Justin, I'll call him. Yeah. And then I just called in, and it was just such a small world because it was like of all the places, he's just sitting at a bar. And then he goes, all right, so I gave him a call as, Mr. Hippo. And it's such a weird, because I've never done that sort of thing. And it was really cool. It was really cool to do. But no, I've been a voice actor for 14 years. So I'm 36 now. I started when I was 22. And, just like anybody else, I was working a full-time job at the time. I hated it. But I was, you got to hustle. What does Gary say? So I was working overnight, lying to like clients. Well, yeah, I can do that as soon as I get out of a recording session. While I get off the train.
Right.
It's the blue line all the way to Logan Airport, get off at airport because I lived in East Boston. And then it was just like I'd go home and I'd just bang out all the work. And then, it was years and years and years of working until my voiceover income doubled what I was working at a day job. And I said, see you later. Yeah.
How many years was that, Joe? Like, because a lot of people, it seems like a lot of people, Gary talks about patience, and it seems like a lot of people quit for their passions.
It was 10 years. 10 years of doing that. 10 years of doing that. And it was just like, and then, I didn't find Gary V until probably 6 years after I was doing it full time. And then I just think, wow, I've been doing everything right. And then seeing what have I been doing wrong. And then it was just good to just get that affirmation and the confirmation of like, oh, hey, man, don't give up. You got to keep going because I have friends who are on big shows and they're big names. I won't name drop, but it's like, you see them, they worked really hard to get where they are. And then a lot of them get it overnight. And it's like, I'm glad I've had like a slow burn of just, working hard. You have some setbacks, you fix those setbacks, you keep working hard. And then I'm happy where I'm at because it's, I do a lot of stuff that people hear, but nobody knows my face. And
that's like a win-win.
I gave up chasing fame years ago. And I'm like, screw it. I'm done. Chasing
but don't
fame.
you think, sometimes that's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? I think everybody wants that, but I don't think they realize the pressure that comes with it. So you have the best of both worlds in a way because you get to have all this stuff. And I think that can mess with your head when people are going faster than you. Yeah. And sometimes you have to kind of check yourself and be like, okay, what's my goal?
100%. And then I get to do Comic-Cons, and like you're at a Comic-Con, you're treated like a celebrity. You get like the celebrity badge, green room, they fly you out, they pay you, you get your hotel, awesome. Like everything's comped, and I'm just like, yeah. And then you get fans lining up to sign autographs, and it's still the weirdest thing to me. And then you get home, and your wife's like, did you fix those shutters like you were supposed to? I'm like, Oh,
really
okay.
settles you down a little bit, right?
Nice
Really
slice of humble pie. Thanks, sweetheart.
Yeah. My husband does the same thing for me too. It's good though because it makes your head not get big, so that's great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, then that's the whole thing about that slow burn of working hard and not just having it come, right when you're 20 years old, and then it's like, oh.
I think it would mess your head big time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Joe, so what are some of the things that you've done so people can know a little bit about? I watched some of your videos on Instagram, and it's great to see you do a great Arnold, and you have a lot of different characters you do, and I love watching your videos. So I hope everybody starts following you after the show tonight.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I've done. The first job I ever got was a PBS cartoon called Fizzy's Lunch Lab. And I voiced like bit parts here and there. And then until I took over as the voice of Fizzy while the main character went to Bob's Burgers. So there was like a huge switch. And that's when people started to realize I can voice double. So then I had some voice doubling stuff going on with that. And people have heard me as Ryan Reynolds, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael J. Fox, Ice-T. And all the casinos, all the Batman, I think it's the Batman or the Dark Knight slot machines.
Okay.
It's not Christian Bale, it's me, which is cool.
Oh, that's so sick. So I'm thinking that next time I'm playing a slot.
Which they saved a ton of money hiring me in the first place. I'm like, oh, this is great. Hey, man, I paid mortgage that month, so I was okay with that.
That's awesome.
But it's I was on a PBS cartoon. I was on a couple of DreamWorks shows. I was on an Astro Blast on NBC. That was a Saturday morning cartoon. Five Nights at Freddys, as your son knows and But yeah, but most of the stuff I do, nobody hears, and that's the stuff that pays the bills on a monthly basis. And like I said, I'm okay with that. It's work. I'm doing what I love, so I can't complain.
That's a really great point too, because I think a lot of people don't realize, that doesn't have to be glamorous or like the biggest, but sometimes what pays or is consistent is you get away with different things. Right. How did Five Nights at Freddys come for you? Because I know that became really huge. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, watching, but it's huge in that it's a juggernaut in its own way.
I never heard of it before I got cast in it, which was funny because and then when I got cast and I saw the logo, because when I auditioned there was no photos, there was no pictures. I don't even think it said Five Nights at Freddys. I just knew it was whatever. And then as soon as I got the script, I recorded and I told a buddy, I'm like, yeah, I did this thing called Five Nights at Freddys. He goes, what? You did what? I'm like, what are you talking about? It was just it's a video game. He goes, dude. I'm like, what? He sends me all of the pictures his kids have. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. They've heard of it. He's like, dude, it's like a huge thing. It's at Target. It's at Walmart. It's everywhere. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm feeling like an old man going, what's that? You kids play Nintendo? I didn't even know. So, and when it happened, it just took off. My social media following blew up, and it was it was crazy. It was cool. And then you get to do the Comic-Cons and meet the fans. And I think that's my favorite part about the whole thing. Just to see, that's their thing. And, Five Nights at Freddys isn't necessarily my thing. I'm just the dude doing the voices. Mm-hmm. But to see, tons of people come together and the parents are so supportive of their kids. And I've talked to parents about bullying and stuff because a lot of their kids get bullied. 100%. And I'm just like, listen, I might be into magic or sports or whatever. Your kids are into Five Nights at Freddys or video games. That's their thing. Support the crap out of that because that's their thing. And I might not relate to it on the video game level, but I relate to it in everything. My son loves monster trucks. So if he wanted to grow up and be a monster truck driver, I'm like, hell yeah, dude. That's their thing. You got to support that. You can't be like, that's the dumbest thing. No, I'm not taking you. And it's just it's an amazing thing to see the support the parents have.
That's awesome. We've actually gone to Comic-Con. My son actually makes costumes.
That's awesome.
And it's so amazing when people stop him every 2 seconds to take a picture of him. And it's like that same thing as you say. He likes that. We support it. And sometimes it's unbelievable, the costumes he made. He went as one of the characters from Five Nights at Freddys one year, and people were just like, holy shit, it's Springtrap!
And most people don't do that. When you see them, you go, because you can't buy the costumes. These people, take the time, and they make, I'm like, it's insane.
Yeah. So, Joe, people asking, could you give them a little sample of a couple little things that you do so they can hear a little something?
Yeah. We want to do Arnold? I'll do Arnold.
Yeah, do Arnold.
Well, listen, first of all, I think it is fantastic to see everybody here. The COVID-19 and all of these things, you have to stay healthy. Do not touch anybody. Stay 6 feet apart, right? Or it sounds still a vista, baby.
That was awesome. Somebody said you have any advice about how to get started in voice work?
Yeah, that's the number. I get 1 million DMs a month about, honestly, The only, because you need to take acting classes is first thing you have to do.
Okay.
And I just used YouTube and Google when I started. That's how I built my career and succeeded the way I've done. I wish I knew what I know now way back then, but that's in the past, so I can't change that.
Right.
But I mean, you need coaching. I mean, I have some vlogs on my website. If you go to joegaudetvo.com, it's in my bio and my Instagram. You can
so just say one more time what your Instagram handle is, and then everybody can start following you, and then they can start looking through your vlogs.
Yeah, at I am Joe Gaudet.
Okay, that's awesome.
Look at my name down below, and like under my vlog on my website, I have like a bunch of like vlogs on tips and tricks and stuff like that. But I mean, working from home is huge right now, and I've been grateful. I've had a full recording studio in my home for years, so I'm ready to go. But you don't need a crazy expensive fancy booth like I do. You can have a clothes closet, a walk-in closet, and a blanket for it. I survived my first 3 or 4 years of my career. Blanket for it because it matters what you sound like, not what you look like. So
that's awesome.
And then get coaching and there's tons of info on my website.
That's so awesome. Can you give just a little sample of one Five Nights at Freddy character?
Mr. Hippo, this is your son. It really enjoys Mr. Hippo. I oddly enough, I based Mr. Hippo's voice off of most, older gentlemen in Boston that I used to know. Maybe, go to Woolworth's back in the day and grab a Reuben sandwich is what we did.
So I just based them on like every guy in Boston that I knew.
So you think also part of voice acting is really observing characters too, because you watch a lot of people and from observing them you take on, and that's how you kind of get in your head of what the character's going to be like, visualizing and all that.
If you saw me in the booth there, like Mr. Hippo, I was hunched over when when I'm doing like How to Train Your Dragon, Jay Baruchel, I've had to do his voice. Hey gang, how's it going? This is Hiccup. And Toothless is my drag. I do like I try to look like Jay Barish or like wait a second, Doc. It's Michael J. Fox. This is Heavy Duty Doc. Like you put like in my head, I see them.
That's so cool.
And it's like that's how I do it. And, other people might not do it, but then you get into deep fake. I love doing deep fakes.
Yeah.
Putting the celebrities' faces over my face, and you really like get a sense of the character like that.
That's so great. Joe, everyone's been really loving all the comments are amazing, and people are saying that they're blown away by the different characters you can do. And they said your information is very helpful. Someone asked if you do maybe like a course that mentors people, and I was wondering, like Udemy or something like that.
Yeah, I did. I was teaching like my whole thing for a few months, and then my workload got so overwhelming. I had to stop it. I was teaching other voice actors who were established. Okay, you make X amount now, but if you want to like really make like a 6-figure solid income, I was teaching them like literally. I would hold their hand. I taught them exactly what I did in the booth every day, and it wasn't just auditioning. It was marketing. It was how do you make phone calls? How do you email? How do you DM on Instagram? How do you? And a big tip I had for a lot of people is, cold emails and cold calling was a big thing.
Right, I feel it, yeah.
But emails, I would, instead of going Control V, Control C, Control V, Control, copy, paste, I hate sending the same thing. So I would take like production companies, like commercials, download them and dub them over as like Arnold or do commentary or something.
Genius.
And it would be like, that's something different that people, instead of going, you hiring voice actors? You accepting demos? Like, how many emails do they get a day?
So make you stand out. Right. One more quick question. I just got a sign under the door from my son.
Yeah. What's up?
Can you do Rockstar Foxy? I don't know. If you can do that.
The bird likes you, so I'll do you a favor. Charles.
I haven't done that voice in like ever. Every time somebody asks me to do it, I go, hold on, I got to go on YouTube and check what it sounds like. Because like I have to do an impression of myself. I'm like, this is going to be terrible.
That's so awesome. Well, Joe, I think you've given people so much great advice, and I'm so glad that you could come on with us tonight. I know that I interrupted, I'm smacked up in the middle of some family time.
No, you're fine. I'm going to go. I'll read the kids a book after this. Don't worry. They'll be fine. They'll live.
Or read the one Jennifer.
School.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. And I just think that you have like you have such a great personality, and you're such a good person. And I think that what this whole show's been on is kind of trying to keep people positive during this time and maybe bringing on different people. Oh, somebody wants to know, do you have an agent?
I do, but I mean, I have 6, but listen to me when I say, but this isn't to like boast. I didn't get my first agent until like 5 years ago.
Okay.
And 99%, I have like legit like timetables and spreadsheets and pivot tables. Like 1% of my voiceover income comes from agents.
Okay.
So it's marketing, hustling, getting the work on my own, because you can't just sit there waiting for the auditions to come.
I think that's such a great point. And the last thing too is when you were saying that you dub over the commercials and stuff like that, I think standing out is so important. I don't think people realize that, because DMs and emails, they get so many of them per day.
Yeah.
And I think it showcases your talent. And I think that's so clever. And I think that you've really given people so many great. Oh, someone wants to know, do you do other acting too besides voice? Like, do you ever do on camera also?
Yeah, no, I just started working with a company like that. I started in film and theater, and then it was just voiceover out of convenience because I didn't want to move to LA.
Yeah.
But now I'm at the point where it's like, I'm in that hold my beer moment. Like, I'm telling you, you don't have to live in LA to succeed. I'm telling you guys. And like, finally they're starting to listen to me. But yeah, I just started working with this company that I'm producing commercials like out of my studio.
That's awesome.
So I'll just get the camera, and then now I have to memorize stuff. I haven't had to memorize stuff in years, but I'm starting to get back on camera.
That's awesome.
It's such a good looking face. We can't waste it, Kristin.
Of course, we need to see more of it, Joe, for sure.
Yeah, we're going to get Botox. We're going to get fillers, whatever I have to.
It's going to be beautiful. No. Oh, God, Joe, I mean, I think you just gave so many people so much great advice tonight, because I think that's one of the things that people don't realize, that it takes time, and they just get so frustrated, and you just got to grind it out. Right. And, and if it's something that really matters to you, you have to just stick with it. And I think you also taught people that it doesn't have to be LA. It doesn't have to be New York, Right. So that's what, someone said that you should also do stand-up like I do too.
I did. That's the thing.
But I figured.
I knew it wasn't for me, because it was so hard to do without doing voices. There was only one time I went up as Joe Gaudet. Every other time I did an open mic, I always signed up as a different name, and I was different. Because it's like I love that. I was Mike Del Vecchio for the longest time, and then I went up like and pretended like I was like an assistant to like actors in Hollywood, and I would tell stories, but it was just an excuse to do the impression. You know what I mean?
God.
Like, so, but no, it wasn't for me. You're killing it though. So you're.
I'm trying. I mean, comedy's hard for me too, because I kind of jumped into it because I was trying to figure out how to get into just get back into the groove.
Right.
So I was like, well, open mic, they'll give you a microphone, and then we'll see how it goes. But I'm kind of doing my own way.
I think what you're doing right now is going to be huge, just because this is the format now. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not going to get germs if I cough on you, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're not. Like,
exactly.
I can spit on the screen. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like, this is the future.
That's awesome. Well, Joe, we really enjoyed our time with you. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
No,
I think
thank you,
people got so much great information from you. Make sure when you hang up, make sure you put your handle and everything back in there. Everybody go follow Joe. You can see he's hysterical. His posts are awesome. And I hope you have a ton of success.
Thank you, too. And tell your son I said hi. And then I'll talk to him soon. I hope he's doing well. Okay?
Thanks so much,
All right,
Joe.
I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.